Welcome to Riddle Paradox. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This video contains discussions of sensitive and disturbing topics, including violence, death, and real-life tragedies that may be upsetting. All content is for educational and entertainment purposes only, based on publicly available information. We honor the victims and their families and do not condone or glorify any form of violence.
It's a foggy March night in 1990, the kind where Boston's streets whisper secrets to those who listen. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum stands like a Venetian palace transplanted to New England, a fortress of marble and masterpieces glowing faintly under street lamps. Inside, two young guards patrol the dimly lit galleries, their footsteps echoing off walls adorned with centuries-old art. The air smells of aged canvas and polished wood, a sanctuary untouched by the chaos outside. Suddenly, a knock at the side. Door shatters the silence. "Police, open up!" The voice is authoritative, urgent. Guard Rick Abath, 23, peers through the peephole and sees two men in Boston PD uniforms, badges gleaming. It's 1:24 a.m. St. Patrick's Day celebrations are dying down, and a disturbance call seems plausible. He buzzes them in, his colleague, Randy Hestand, joining from the control room. The cops step inside, their faces stern, eyes scanning the shadows. "Gentlemen, this is a robbery," one says calmly, pulling out handcuffs. No guns drawn, no shouts, just cold, calculated control. They separate the guards, duct tape their mouths, blindfold them with tape, and bind them in the basement. "Don't make this harder than it has to be," the taller one warns, his voice a low growl. For the next 81 minutes, the thieves move like ghosts through the museum, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Alarms that should blare remain silent. Priceless paintings are sliced from frames with precision knives, rolled up and vanished into the night. By 2:45 a.m., they're gone, leaving behind empty walls and a riddle that has baffled the world for 34 years, $500 million in art, Rembrandt's stormy seas, Vermeer's intimate concert, erased in under an hour. No trace, no demands, no recovery. This isn't just a heist. It's a paradox, a challenge to every detective, art lover, and truth seeker. How did two imposters pull off the perfect crime? Why have the masterpieces never resurfaced? And what secrets do those empty frames still hold? Welcome to Riddle Paradox, where we dive into the abyss of unsolved enigmas. Buckle up. This is the story of the Isabella Stewart Gardner heist, a tale of deception, loss, and the thrill of the unknown that refuses to fade. But to understand the crime, we must first meet the woman whose dream became a nightmare. Isabella Stewart Gardner was no ordinary figure in 19th century America. Born in 1840 to a wealthy New York family, she was a rebel from the start. A woman who smoked cigarettes, hosted lion cubs at parties, and collected art with a fervor that shocked Boston's stuffy elite. "I am a collector of beautiful things," she once declared, her eyes sparkling with determination. Married to financier Jack Gardner in 1860, she traveled Europe, amassing a collection that rivaled kings. Tragedies shaped her. The death of her only child in 1865, her husband's passing in 1898, each blow forging her resolve to create something eternal. By 1903, she opened the Gardner Museum, designed as a Venetian palazzo with courtyards blooming, with flowers year-round. It wasn't a cold gallery, it was alive. Paintings hung in intimate rooms, lit by natural light, surrounded by tapestries and sculptures. Key pieces included Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee, 1633, a turbulent biblical scene of Jesus calming the waves, valued at $100 million alone. Vermeer's The Concert, 1664, a serene depiction of musicians, rare as one of only 36 known Vermeers. Manet's Che Tortoni, 1878, a casual cafe sketch. Even ancient items like a 2,500-year-old Chinese bronze beaker and a Napoleonic eagle finial added layers of history. Isabella's will was her final act of defiance. The collection could never be altered. "If anything is changed, the museum must be sold," she stipulated. For 87 years, it stood as her living legacy, a place where visitors felt the pulse of art history. But on that fateful night in 1990, her unbreakable rules would be tested by intruders who saw not beauty but bounty. The museum, once a haven, became a target, its silence a canvas for crime. As the clock ticked toward 1 a.m., the stage was set for a heist that would echo through time, blending thrill with the agony of irreplaceable loss. The night of March 17-18-1990 was unseasonably cold, with fog rolling in from Boston Harbor. Inside the museum, guard Rick Abath was making his rounds, the creak of wooden floors his only company. At 1:24 a.m., the intercom buzzed. "Police, we have a report of a disturbance," came the voice from outside. Abath, following protocol, checked. The camera, 2 men in Boston Police Department uniforms, complete with hats and badges. It seemed legitimate. The city was still buzzing from holiday parties. He buzzed them in, and the men entered with authority. "You look like the description of a suspect," one said to Abath, motioning him away from the alarm button. His partner, Randy Hestand, arrived from upstairs, only to be met with the same ruse. "Hands against the wall," the cops ordered, patting them down. Handcuffs clicked shut. "This is a robbery. Don't make any moves or we'll blow your heads off." The guards' hearts raced, the thrill of fear mixing with confusion. Duct tape wrapped around their eyes and mouths, their wrists bound. Dragged to the basement, they were chained to pipes, left in darkness. Upstairs, the thieves moved with chilling efficiency. They knew the layout, ignoring lesser items, heading straight for the Dutch room. Rembrandt's seascape was cut from its frame with a razor, the canvas rolled carefully. Vermeer's concert followed, its delicate scene of music and light now destined for shadows. In the short gallery, they took Manet's sketch and the ancient beaker. Even the eagle finial was unscrewed from its pole. No rush, no mistakes, just the soft sound of tools and footsteps. The air grew thick with the scent of old varnish and tension. At 2:45 a.m., they exited through the side door, vanishing into the fog. The guards, trembling in the cold basement, could only wait for morning, their minds racing with the drama of what had just unfolded, a heist so seamless it felt scripted. Morning came slowly, the museum's alarms finally triggering when the day shift arrived at 8:15 a.m. Security supervisor Lyle Grindle was the first to notice something wrong. The side door ajar, silence where bustle should be. Descending to the basement, he found Abath and Hestand, bound and terrified, their faces pale from hours of isolation. "They took everything," Abath muttered as the tape was removed, his voice hoarse. Police flooded the scene, cordoning off the building as news crews gathered outside. The inventory was heartbreaking. 13 items missing, not random grabs but targeted treasures. The Rembrandt, Vermeer's only seascape, gone. The total value, over $500 million, making it the largest art theft ever. Empty frames hung like wounds, the walls scarred where canvases were cut. The emotional punch hit immediately. Museum director Anne Hawley wept, calling it a desecration. Isabella's will meant no replacements. The voids would remain, a perpetual reminder of vulnerability. The FBI took charge, interviewing the guards, who passed lie detectors, and scouring for clues. Tire tracks from a red Dodge Daytona outside, a motion detector log showing the thieves' path, but no fingerprints, no DNA in that pre-forensic era. The thrill of the hunt began, but drama mounted as leads evaporated. Public outrage grew. This wasn't just theft, it was an assault on cultural heritage, leaving a void that echoed Isabella's own losses in life. The heist had transformed a place of beauty into a crime scene, setting the stage for decades of frustration. The investigation exploded into one of the FBI's most extensive art crime probes. Special Agent Robert Whitman, known as the Art Detective, led the charge, coordinating with Interpol and offering a $1 million reward, later upped to $10 million. Early focus fell on the guards. Abath's rock band practice in the museum weeks prior raised suspicions, but polygraphs cleared them. "I thought I was going to die that night," Abath later recounted in interviews, his voice cracking with lingering fear. Suspects emerged from Boston's underworld. The Merlino gang, led by Carmine the Cheese Man Merlino, was prime, known for bold robberies. Informants whispered of plans overheard in bars, but raids yielded nothing. Another lead pointed to Whitey Bulger's Irish mob with theories of paintings used as collateral for drug deals. Drama peaked in 1997 when a Boston Herald reporter claimed to have seen the Vermeer in a warehouse, but it was a hoax. International twists added thrill. Rumors of the art in Ireland linked to the IRA as ransom for prisoners. FBI agents traveled to Europe following tips of sightings in Switzerland and Japan. All dead ends. Emotional strain showed in public appeals. Museum curator Cornelius Vermeer described the loss as a hole in the heart of Boston's culture. Guards faced scrutiny. Hestand struggled with PTSD, rarely speaking publicly, while Abath became a recluse. The case's scale, 13 items, infinite possibilities, created frustration. By the 2000s, DNA tech was applied to hair samples from the scene, but matches failed. A 2013 press conference announced the thieves were identified, but dead, yet names were withheld, fueling conspiracy theories. The hunt's thrill lay in its elusiveness, a cat-and-mouse game where the mouse always slipped away, leaving investigators with the bitter taste of defeat. The heist wasn't a victimless crime. It inflicted wounds that time couldn't heal. For the guards, it was a night of terror that reshaped their worlds. Randy Hestand, 25 at the time, suffered nightmares for years, his trust in authority shattered. "I felt helpless, like a pawn in someone else's game," he confided in a rare interview, his eyes distant with memory. Rick Abath, accused by some of involvement, endured public harassment, his life a series of what-ifs. The emotional drama played out in their silence. Both men faded from the spotlight, carrying the weight of that night like invisible chains. The museum staff felt the loss personally. Director Ann Hawley, who discovered the theft, described it as an act of violence against beauty. Visitors today stand before the empty frames, feeling the void, a deliberate choice to honor Isabella's will, but one that evokes profound sadness. "It's like the art is screaming to be found," one curator said, voice thick with emotion. Isabella's legacy, built on resilience after her own tragedies, losing her husband, was mocked by the theft. Her museum, meant to inspire, now a monument to absence. Broader ripples touched the art world. Collectors grew paranoid. Museums upgraded security, but the thrill of the unknown lingered. What if the paintings are enjoyed in secret? Families of suspects faced stigma, and the public grappled with the injustice of unpunished audacity. The heist's emotional core is this: it stole not just objects, but pieces of human history, leaving a hole filled only by questions and quiet grief. Theories about the heist are as varied as the stolen art itself, each adding layers of thrill and intrigue. The leading one points to Boston's organized crime. The Merlino crew, with ties to the Patriarca family, allegedly planned it as a retirement score. Informants claimed the paintings were moved to Connecticut, then Philadelphia, used as bargaining chips in underworld deals. "Art is the perfect currency, untraceable and valuable," one FBI agent noted. but raids on mob hideouts found nothing, leaving the theory hanging like an empty frame. Another dramatic angle involves the Irish Republican Army. In the 1990s, tips suggested the art was smuggled to Ireland as collateral for arms. A 1994 anonymous letter to the museum demanded $2.6 million for a test painting, hinting at IRA involvement, but it was never verified. International thrill came from global leads. A Vermeer spotted in Japan, a Rembrandt in a Swiss vault, all false, but each sparked hope and disappointment. More outlandish ideas include an inside job, perhaps a guard or staffer provided. The layout. Abath's prior buzzing in of friends fueled this, though evidence cleared him. Some believe the art was destroyed in a panic, burned to ash to avoid capture. The FBI's 2013 claim, "We know who did it, but they're dead," added mystery. But without names, it's a tease. Recent drama. A 2023 tip from a dying man claiming knowledge, investigated but dismissed. The theory's thrill lies in their endless possibilities. A riddle that invites everyone to play detective, blending fact with the allure of the unknown. 34 years later, the Isabella Stewart Gardner heist stands as a monument to the perfect. Crime, unsolved, unpunished, and unending. The $10 million reward remains unclaimed, the painting's fate a black hole of speculation. Museums worldwide learned harsh lessons. Security was revolutionized, with laser systems and AI monitoring, now standard. Yet the heist's legacy is bittersweet. It highlighted art's vulnerability, turning collectors into guardians and inspiring books, documentaries, and even a Netflix series. Emotionally, it's a story of resilience. The Gardner Museum thrives. Its empty frames a defiant statement. We remember, we wait. Isabella's spirit endures in the unchanged galleries, a reminder that beauty persists amid loss. The thrill of the case lies in its open end. Perhaps a dusty attic holds the Rembrandt, or a private vault hides the Vermeer. But the drama is in the waiting, the paradox of a theft that stole time itself. As we close this chapter on Riddle Paradox, reflect on this. In a world of riddles, some are meant to challenge us, to push the boundaries of what we know. The Gardner. Heist does just that. A badass tale of cunning that defies resolution. If this journey through shadows thrilled you, hit like, share your theory in the comments. Mob heist or something wilder? Subscribe now for more unsolved enigmas, from missing persons to cold murders, and turn on notifications so you never miss a riddle. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, the greatest mysteries are the ones we chase together. Until next time, Riddle Paradox out.